Presentation looks at critical core network decisions to support IPv4 and IPv6 internet connectivity. Joining us for this is Jose Diabru. He serves as the SE Director for Latin America and North America, Tier 1 service providers at A10 Networks as well. Jose's experience includes multiple sales and pre-sales roles with different technology vendors in the networking and network security areas. I understand we have a video to play, and then we will welcome Jose to the screen.
We live in a world where trust matters. We trust that every video will be streamed, every transaction will be made, and every game will be played. It is trust in every purchase, post, and application that keeps us connected. And lack of service availability can bring down organizations, crash financial markets, and risk lives. Keeping customers connected and maintaining a competitive advantage requires digital transformation at record pace. We've earned the trust of the world's largest brands and technology leaders. By innovating for the future with solutions for 5G, AI, and cloud, while protecting against evolving cyber threats, to deliver business-critical solutions for enterprises and service providers that empower the most secure and available digital experiences in the world. Trust matters. A10 Networks, always secure, always available.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Abreu, and I'm going to be talking to you for the next about 10 to 15 minutes about core network decisions when it comes to supporting IPv4 and IPv6 connectivity, migration strategies, and also making sure those services are always available. So before I start, I wanted to say thank you to the CANTO team. Thanks for the opportunity to be here and present. It is really an honor for us to be part of the event. And hopefully the information that we'll provide and we'll be sharing will be useful to you. So let me jump right there into my first slide. And I also want to say great presentations before me talking about digital transformation. We definitely share the same view. It is really important. Is affecting the world, right? Is happening everywhere. It's happening at different rates, though, right? And that's also important to keep in mind. However, what is very obvious to everyone in every region is how important connectivity has become, right? And especially in the last 2 years. And I think I'm not introducing a new concept here. Again, based on the previous 2 presentations, that was also a highlight in there, right? The way we see it from A10, broadband connectivity to basically everyone is considered an essential service, right there with access to electricity, right, and some other really important services. And just imagine, right, if we had to go through the past 2 years working from home, going to school from home, and not having that connectivity. So I think, and hopefully everyone will agree with me, that the world is really a better place because of the technology, right? And not everything is perfect about technology. And that brings me to my next point, right, about security. So as any other tool, right, the internet can be used for really good things, like allowing kids to learn from school, right, while they were not able to go physically. to continue their learning process, for us to work from home. I have been doing it. I can talk about that from my own experience, right? And I'm only able to do it because I have good broadband connectivity. However, we also have to admit the internet has been used for really bad purposes, right? So security is an important key decision that needs to be included from the beginning whenever we are creating or even defining a new service, a new network connectivity. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here on security because in about an hour, I'm going to be participating in a panel on that specific topic, right? So I'll go into more detail about security on that session. I want to focus on this session on connectivity, right? And how connectivity is evolving. Most of the connectivity, when we today talk about connectivity, we're primarily talking about IPv4, right? Or at least IP. Most of that traffic still today is based on IPv4, and we have been talking about how we are running out of IPv4 addresses for a long time, the migration to IPv6, and yes, that's happening. That is happening even at a better pace now than it was 5 years ago. However, we're still behind where we should be. So introducing IPv6, providing services on top of IPv6, and providing connectivity to your users or your subscribers on IPv6 is key. And we tend to think about this migration as a responsibility on the service providers. And yes, definitely service providers have a huge role to play here, but this is everywhere: enterprise, government, education, right? We need to work together to move to IPv6. That's not going to happen and in a short time. We've been working on that, and we still, as I mentioned, we're still looking at a lot of traffic, and I'll show some stats on that on IPv4, right? So what that means is that we need to continue providing connectivity and services on IPv4. And one of the main issues that is affecting broadband reach, right, today, especially connectivity expansions, going to new areas like rural connectivity, for example, is IPv4 availability. And IPv4 availability is closely tied to cost, right? There are no additional IPv4s available from any of the registrars, right? So most of the transactions related to IPv4 addresses today are done on the private market. You have to buy from other people that have IPv4s, and the cost has been growing steadily for the past several years. We even saw an important acceleration on the price on the past 6 months. If you look at some of the auctions that went on in December, in January, the cost has been going up significantly, primarily based on US rural ISPs buying more IPs in order to use some of the government funds, right? So the other thing is, when we look at the cost of the IPv4, we tend to put a lot of focus on the CapEx, right, investment at the beginning just to buy that address. However, when you look at a 5-year period, right, that IPv4 is going to have an extra 12 to 15% based on some of our own studies with our customers, right, on the OpEx for those 5 years. And it is true, as I mentioned, that a lot of the traffic is migrating to IPv6. If you look at some of the stats across the region, right? There is a lot of IPv6 traffic going on with, especially with the co-located content providers. If you look at YouTube, Facebook, some of those, right? They had negotiated local connectivity with some ISPs, right? And that connectivity it could be done over IPv6 ideally, right? However, when you look at a different dimension on IPv6 that is not about traffic volume, right, but service availability, the numbers are very different. And even last year, right, if you look at that graph there, about 20% of the internet servers are reachable through IPv6, right? So what that means is, yes, you may have users accessing YouTube, for example, through IPv6. However, most likely that same user is accessing some service that is available on IPv4 only. So that basically reinforces what I was telling you before about IPv4 is here to stay for at least 4 or 5 years. Okay, that's based on our estimates. So given that reality, right, and something important is also we want to minimize the cost of maintaining that legacy technology of IPv4. So ideally, any investment that you make or you do on IPv4 should not only help you maintain IPv4 connectivity, but should help you migrate to IPv6, and even should be useful after migrating to IPv6, right? And especially when you look at the cost of an IPv4, that's basically dead cost. There isn't much that that cost is going to help you migrate to V6. There is nothing that you're going to do with that IP after you migrate to V6. So when you look at technologies that help you extend the life of IPv4, like carrier grade NAT, for example, on the other hand, ideally you can do it on a device that will allow you to migrate and then also provide services even after you are 100% on IPv6, right? Ideally, you can use it for some other service, for security service. You can use it for traffic management, traffic redirection, for header injection, right? For some other functionality, and that way it allows you to better use that investment in the long run. Mm-hmm. So I have one case study that I wanted to mention. This is an FTTH provider in the US, okay, and they were looking at adding about 11,000 users, right, in the next couple of years. They definitely needed to provide IPv4 connectivity. However, they were looking at the cost, and as you can see there, the cost for them was about $500,000, right, to buy enough IPs to be able to serve those subscribers. This ISP, it was their first experience using CGNAT, and they were really concerned about service, how the service was going to be affected, or the users, how their users were going to react to not having a public IP assigned directly to them. So they went with a really conservative oversubscription number of 32-to-1. So basically, they are saying, okay, now we're going to share one public IPv4 with 32 subscribers. And that allowed them to save about $400,000, right, on that investment. So depending on how much you oversubscribe and how you manage the service, if it's going to be centralized, if it's going to be distributed, obviously the cost savings may be different. But this is something that we see not only on that particular ISP, right, but we see across the board. Mm-hmm. So just a couple of comments, like any other project, right? It's really important to have an implementation plan, evaluate your options, try to use the best technology available to you, and please also consider the security implications of having shared IPs, the security implications of your device, your CGN function, for example, being under attack. Take those security in consideration from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So just some logos here about some of our largest customers worldwide. I've been primarily focusing on SPs, right, on service providers, but we also work with enterprises. In the Caribbean, we work with governments, with education, right, with finance. So we can help in different sectors. So I'll leave you also with some stats here about some of our global presence. Thank you. And if we have time for questions, I will be more than happy to answer them.
We live in a world where trust matters. We trust that every video will be streamed, every transaction will be made, and every game will be played. It is trust in every purchase, post, and application that keeps us connected. And lack of service availability can bring down organizations, crash financial markets, and risk lives. Keeping customers connected and maintaining a competitive advantage requires digital transformation at record pace. We've earned the trust of the world's largest brands and technology leaders by innovating for the future with solutions for 5G, AI, and cloud, while protecting against evolving cyber threats, to deliver business-critical solutions for enterprises and service providers that empower the most secure and available digital experiences in the world. Trust matters. A10 Networks, always secure, always available.